Hello friends, today we are going to learn FE formulation of truss elements. It means finite element formulation of truss element. So why we want to formulate the truss element? Because all real life objects are continuous. Means there is no physical gap between any two consecutive particles. As per material science, any object is made up of small particles, particle of molecules, molecule of atoms, and so on. And they are bonded together by force of attraction. Solving a real life problem with continuous material approach is difficult. And basic of all numerical methods is to simplify the problem by discretizing. So FE formulation will discretize the truss into small number of parts. The example of truss you can see here, there is one bridge on that one car is moving. So this bars is called as truss. So finite element actually is an art to predict the future. It means if suppose some cars are passing on this bridge and if you want to predict how many cars can pass over the bridge at a time, it means you can predict the failure of this bridge. That is the finite element analysis. So, my name is Amit Bagure. I am working as assistant professor in Kekiwad Institute of Engineering, Education and Research, Nasik. For today's presentation, our objectives is formulate the stiffness matrix for the element of a truss. The first learning objective, stiffness matrix is nothing but a K. The second objective, compute the stresses and deflection of truss elements. So after applying load on the trusses, how much is the deflection of that truss and what is the stress developed at various elements that we are going to learn in this video. So these are some common example of trusses. So where we can observe trusses, here the one example is bridge, which mostly in hilly regions. The bridge is made of trusses. Now here, if you want to make one bridge on the river, it is also made by using some trusses. Here you can see that rods are interconnected and are welded together. Then here the one second example. Now here the truss can also be used for the chassis of an automobile. So this is one example. Here this is the roll cage of SAE Baha vehicle. It is also example of truss. At the home roof, it is also example of trusses. So after applying the loads on the trusses, we are going to calculate the deformation and stresses developed in trusses. So what is the characteristics of truss element? Now here the truss element is a slender member. It means the length is much larger than the cross section. It is a two-force member. It means it can only support an axial load and cannot support a bending load. Now members are joined by pins. There is no translation at the constraint node, but they are free to rotate in any direction. Being a two-force member, the force acting in the member is in the length direction only. Truss element is having cross-sectional dimensions and elastic properties of each member are constant along its lengths. There is another characteristics. The first one, the bar elements for truss structures is mechanically equivalent to a spring. It means we can convert the bar element into spring elements. See, it has no stiffness against applied loads except those acting along the axis, the length direction of the member. The last characteristic, a truss element can be oriented in any direction in a plane, and the same length is capable of tension as well as compression along its longitudinal direction. Here we can take one small example, simple bridge structure. It is shown in figure like this one, which is having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 elements, and they are supported at the two ends. So FE model with 1D bar elements with designated element and node numbers. All elements are interconnected by a frictionless hinges. So we can give the numbers to that nodes and elements. Here you can see this tapered inclined member is called as bar. We can give the number 1 to that bar, and node number 1 and node number 7. These are supported, that we call as boundary conditions, and 1, 2, 3, 4, these are the element numbers. So all these elements, so element number 1 and element number 6 are gets connected at node number 3 by frictionless hinges. So here we are going to consider only one inclined member, that is element 1, and we are going to formulate the stiffness matrix only for that first element. So after end of this lecture, we have to formulate the stiffness matrix for each and every bar, and then you have to club together for all these elements, and then finally you will get the stiffness matrix for the simple bridge. Here we can see we can consider only one bar element which is inclined at some angle theta with the x-axis. So at node number, we can give the two node numbers, node number I and node number j. So at node number I, we can write the coordinates x of I and y of I, and at node number j, we can write the coordinates x of j and y of j. Now here, if you want to convert the global coordinate system into local coordinate system, here it is a 1D bar element. Why it is 1D element? Because this element only deforms in x direction. You cannot deform this element in y direction. That's why they call one dimensional. It is having only one dimension and having 2 degrees of freedom at each node. It means if you want to define I node, it should have two coordinates, that is x coordinate and y coordinate. It means at x, at first node, it is having 2 degrees of freedom, and also at j node, it is having 2 degrees of freedom. So at node number I, if you want to translate or convert the global coordinate system into local coordinate system, we can write here q1 dash. It means if this bar element is deformed or get transferred to new position, then you will get here q1 dash and then q2 dash. Then q1 dash you will get here u equal to q1 cos theta plus q2 sin theta, and q2 dash you will get q3 cos theta plus q4 sin theta. q1 dash and q2 dash is the local elements, and q1, q2, q3 and q4 are the global coordinates. You can simplify, you can write q here in matrix form. You can write here q equal to q1, q2, q3, q4 in transpose matrix. Similarly, we can write q1 dash and q2 dash in transpose form like this one. Then, so what is the relation between local coordinate system and global coordinate system? Because this truss we are transforming from global coordinate to local coordinate system. So along the length of this element, that is called a local coordinate system, and the one is global coordinate system, which is placed horizontally x and vertically y. So for this element at node number 1, you can write the coordinates x1, y1, and at node number 2 the coordinates are x2, y2, and the effective length of this element is LE, and this element is inclined at some angle theta with the x-axis. Now if you want to find out L, that is cosine, you can write here L equal to cos theta equal to x2 minus x1 upon effective length of this element. Similarly, we can write M equal to sin theta y2 minus y1 upon LE, effective length. So how to calculate effective length of this element? You can use Pythagoras theorem. So finally you will get effective length of this element is x2 minus x1 bracket square plus y2 minus y1 bracket square. So why you want to calculate effective length? Because this element is defined only by the coordinates x1, y1 and x2, y2. From these coordinates, you are going to calculate the length of this element. So you can calculate by using this formula under root of this formula. Then Similarly, in the previous equation we have discussed q1 dash q1 cos theta, q2 sin theta. So cos theta can be replaced by L as we have discussed here, and sin theta can be replaced by M. So we can replace q1 sin theta, that is q1L plus q2M, that L is nothing but cos theta, M is nothing but sin theta. Similarly, we can write for q2 dash, we will get q2 dash equal to q3L plus q4L. In matrix form we can write like this one, q1 dash q2 dash equal to L M 0 0, then 0 0 LM, and then q1 q2 q3 q4. That is the relation between local coordinate system and global coordinate system with L, that is a transpose matrix. It means if you want to convert the local coordinate system into global coordinate system, you have to use transpose matrix, nothing but here you can denote by L. It is called as transformation matrix. Sorry. Now, how we are going to formulate stiffness matrix for truss? For small deformations in tension or compression, a bar acts like a spring. The amount of deformation is linearly proportional to the force applied to the bar. Like in Hooke's law, stress is directly proportional to the strain. Bar is stretched or can be compressed, so potential energy is added to the beam, that is bar. This energy is called as strain energy, and it can be modeled with Hooke's law. By using Hooke's law, we can write force equal to K, that is nothing but a stiffness into displacement delta x. Now we have to compute the energy by integrating over the deformation, because you are going to calculate strain energy. So you can write here u equal to K, that is the stiffness, integration of 0 to q x dx. If you are integrating, you will get 1 by 2 K into q square. After applying limits and integrating, you will get 1 by 2 K into q square. Assuming the deformation is linear over the element, all equal length segment of the element will deform the same amount. Therefore, we can write q equal to q2 dash minus q1 dash. We can substitute this q2 dash minus q1 dash in the above equation. So you will get the strain energy, that is u equal to 1 by 2 K in bracket q2 dash minus q1 dash bracket square. After simplified form of this equation, finally you will get u equal to 1 by 2 q dash of transpose matrix into K dash into q dash. So here, what is K dash? So K dash is nothing but A upon L, 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. These things are known for the spring element. We are writing the same thing. A by L, A is nothing but the area of cross section of that bar or rod. E is the Young's modulus. L is the length of that element of that spring or bar. 1 minus 1 1 1, this is the matrix form. Then Q dash transpose is equal to Q transpose into L transpose, that we have discussed in the previous slides. Q dash T equal to Q transpose into L transpose. Similarly, we can rewrite this equation u equal to 1 half Q dash T K dash Q dash. So Q dash T is known, so we can rewrite Q dash T, instead of Q dash T you can write Q of T into L transpose into K dash, and Q dash is nothing but L into Q. So Q dash is also get replaced, you will get here L into Q. So finally you will get 1 by 2 Q transpose into capital K into Q, the simplified form of the above equation, where K is nothing but L transpose into K dash into L, where K dash is A upon L, 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. L is known, that is LM0000 LM, that we have discussed in previous slides. So our aim is to find out this K, that is stiffness matrix for this truss. Now K dash is known, you can write A by L, 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. Now L is also known from the previous slides, that is LM0000 LM. If you want to write transpose matrix, though 2 rows and 4 columns gets converted into 2 columns and 4 rows. So we can rewrite L transpose here. So after multiplying, you can give the names A, B and C. If you are multiplying B into C, you will get here LM minus LM minus L minus M LM. These are very simple matrix calculations. So after that, again you are going to calculate A matrix into G matrix. So you will get finally stiffness matrix for global two-dimensional coordinate becomes A by L. So after multiplying this L into L, that you will get L square, like that you will get LM minus L square minus LM, LM and so on. That is the stiffness matrix for the truss element, only for one element, where A is nothing but area of cross section of that bar, A is Young's modulus, L is the length of that element, that is effective length of that element, and L is the cos theta and M is the sin theta. So what is the properties of stiffness matrix? The first property of the stiffness matrix is represent the stiffness of single element with inclined angle theta. Then it is symmetric about the diagonal line of the square matrix. You can see it is symmetric L square, M square, L square, M square. Now about this diagonal, it is symmetric. That is the properties of stiffness matrix. Next one, since there are 4 unknowns, nodal displacement meaning 4 degree of freedom, and the matrix is of size 4 by 4. It is nothing but order of stiffness matrix corresponds to total degree of freedoms. Then the term L and M represent the cosine and sine values of the orientation of the element with the horizontal plane rotated in counterclockwise direction, that is we can take it always positive. Each column of stiffness matrix is an equilibrium set of nodal forces required to produce unit respective degree of freedom. Now after calculating stiffness matrix, the next aim you are going to calculate stress developed in the bar element. The stress is very well known. The stress is nothing but strain into Young's modulus. We can simply say Young's modulus equal to stress upon strain. We can rewrite it sigma equal to E into strain, where sigma equal to E and strain is change in length upon original length. We can write Q2 minus Q1 upon original length is nothing but length of that element. In vector form, we can rewrite sigma equal to E by LE minus 1 1 Q1 dash and Q2 dash. So Q dash we can say it's a vector in vector form, Q1 dash, Q2 dash. We know that Q dash is equal to L into Q as we are discussed in previous slides, and L is also known with LM 00 00 LM. Q is also known, it's in global coordinate Q1, Q2, Q3 and Q4. If you are rewriting all these things in sigma, so you will get finally sigma equal to E by LE minus 1 1 L into Q. So E is nothing but Young's modulus of the truss element, LE length of the bar element, and L is the transpose matrix, and Q is the deformations in global coordinate system. So at the end of this lecture, use the techniques we have developed to compute the stresses in the truss. You can see here it's having one truss which is having 3 elements 1, 2 and 3, and these 3 elements are fixed at node number 1 and node number 2. So at node number 1 is completely fixed, it means all degree of freedom are constrained, and at node number 2, this node number 2 can translate along y direction. It means the deflection along y direction you can keep it open, and deflection along L direction you can make it fixed. It means u2x you can make it 0. So please try to solve this numerical. So what is the other example of truss? You can also see the truss in electric poles is also example of truss. Thank you. If you are having any question, on truss, you can post it on my YouTube channel. Thank you.